Hello, welcome to the Rich and Simple Living. My name's Maria. If you're new here, I vlog mainly about homeschooling, homesteading, that's urban homesteading, and home life, which normally is cooking. So today I'm doing homeschooling and I'm doing the second part of my 3 parts review of Sian's Key Stage 3. Last week we did Year 7. And this week we're going to be looking at Year 8, what she did in Year 8 and how we felt about it as time had progressed. So I'll just give you a quick rundown of what lessons she was doing, and a lot of them are the same as what she was doing in Year 7 because we were following Key Stage 3 workbooks. So we did start on a new spelling, punctuation and grammar book. It was quite good because CGP did 2 different ones. And so we did the first one and finished that in Year 7. And then it's called 10-minute test, although we didn't use it for 10-minute testing. We just used it the same as we did the other one because the layout was the same. So she did that and she completed that in Year 8. Put them tidy behind. We carried on with the Key Stage 3 science. Now this was getting harder. And she wasn't really interested in it, and it was becoming a bit like a maths, really, doing it like this. I'm not sure if we actually finished this in Year 8. No, I think we actually finished that this year. So she carried on doing that, but it was getting tougher on her and she wasn't really interested in it. She didn't always understand it, no matter what we Googled or found YouTube videos on the lessons. It just wasn't really working for her. But I said to her, well, if you're stuck, look at the answers, because at least then, you'll know the answer and you might be able to think, oh, I can see why it's worked out like that, or, whatever. But she was really struggling with it. But we kept persevering with this one through Year 8. Maths, again, we were doing the blue maths books. We'd started those in Year 7, as I was saying last week. We switched over to these because we're struggling with the others. And she did all of them. And I think the vast majority of them, probably except for this one, she'd finished the others by the end of Year 8. So she got on quite well with them. She was quite happy with them. So I'm reaching behind you so I can put them in the box. She continued the Key Stage 3 German. It was really good. She enjoyed that. Did find it a bit difficult towards the end when it was getting to all like your nouns, pronouns and things like that, and putting big sentences together, like having conversation type sentences. She's got a bit bogged down by it then. But yeah, on the whole, she enjoyed doing this book. And I think she may have finished this in Year 8. Oh, tell a lie, it was a bit earlier this year. But yeah, the vast majority of that she did in Year 8. She continued with geography in Year 8. That's the good thing about these, because I mean they're really good thick books, and they can last you right the way through Key Stage 3. I mean, you can do a lot of additional work with them, look up subjects secondly, rather than just in the book. You can just take a subject from the book and carry on looking. So it could end up lasting you longer if you like doing that with every subject. But some things Sian liked to have a good discussion about, and other things she wasn't so bothered about discussing. But yeah, now this one she did finish at the end of Year 8. So geography she's so with. She loves doing about the countries, and she like the world maps and things like that. The only thing she wasn't so bothered about was weather cycles, rocks and minerals and volcanoes. I mean, she's done all that and she knows about all of that. And she does like rocks. She went through a phase of collecting rocks and minerals, and she won't get rid of them. She likes some rocks and minerals. But, when some of it goes on and it bogs her down a bit, and she's like, okay, yeah, I know that, I want to move on now, sort of thing. So it didn't captivate her interest as much as like the countries and things like that. But she enjoyed doing this book, and like I say, she must have done because she got through it quite quickly by finishing it in year 8. So that was another one done. History, same kind of book, nice thick book. These take longer because she loves history, and she does go into history quite a lot, reading and wanting to know more and looking up things herself about whatever she's read if she's been really interested. So she carried on with her history. Another couple of books were Viking books, because we started these later in year 7 when we'd found some worksheets I showed you last week, and that sparked her interest, and so we found these workbooks and we did them. So she was still doing them when the year ended, because she follows the school terms. When the school year ended, she started it again then in the September, and she finished those then in the year 8. So she did them through 7 and 8, and she really enjoyed them. She liked the Vikings and the history of the Vikings. Key Stage 3 English book. She was so with this book. I'm not sure if she finished at the end of year 8 or whether it continued, because she did skip the Shakespeare in these. She didn't want to do Shakespeare. She knows who Shakespeare is and what he did and everything, the history of the man kind of thing, but she wasn't interested in his works. She finds them boring. So she didn't do that. So yeah, she carried on doing this, and it wasn't a bad book. Once she missed out the Shakespeare bit, she enjoyed doing other parts of it. I'm just going to let my cat in because she's jumping at the nets. You have to excuse me. The cat was jumping up at the back door to come in, and I've got fly nets there, and she catches hold of them with her claws and she'll snag holes in them, and I don't want her doing that. So I had to let her in. So yeah, like I said, about the English book, she did enjoy doing that, and she plodded on with that one. She started in year 7, year 8, and you'll probably see it again when I review year 9. Now, she did art. Now, at this stage, she was starting to get a bit not so bothered about doing art as lessons. She loves doing art. She loves drawing. But like I've said before, she seems to prefer it in her own time. You know, when she's got the inspiration for it, just getting up and doing it, she'd rather do it that way. So it was more like a thin pamphletty book. And I'd bought her a nice drawing book, and it's been sat in the box for a couple of years, and she's not really done anything with it. So she turned to doing mainly like flag things and art like that. So she'd gone from anime characters and was doing flags and that kind of thing. She did a couple of pencil sketch characters, which are quite good. Well, they're really good. She's been practicing a shade in there. Some characters. So yeah, she did that. But like I say, she started to drift more to doing it in a self-led time when she wanted to do it, rather than as a lesson each week, which is fine, because that's the beauty of homeschooling. As I always say, it's adjustable, isn't it? You can do to what suits. Now, miscellaneous work, we had a couple of folders again, filled 2 folders in. So like I was saying last week about year 7, there might be for special events or anything like that. This first one was mainly English comprehension. It was all downloaded worksheets and things like that. So it was like the writing, you read it and then you answered the questions. So this folder is all full of that kind of thing. And it was all free from Twinkle, all free ones that I got. So she did that for year 8 as well, as part of her English. And then there was miscellaneous work. this is all the kind of thing, you know, that when it's a special event you do something for, or if I've found odd sheets that were free I thought were good, like found bits and pieces there, then we did them. We got some fun colouring stuff. Do you know, I downloaded them from when she was, I think it was in year 6, when she was 11, and we did them, downloaded a load for bonfire night, and so like we would have just coloured that in, just filling in time. If you fancy a bit of colouring, yeah, I've got some sheets, you know. We did Christmas jumper day quizzes and crosswords. So like I say, like special occasion type things. And then I get a lot of free border sheets from Twinkle, and we've done some for St. Patrick's Day, and then she'll research it and write about it. And the same with this is Red Nose Day, is that Children in Need? Red Nose, can't remember now. So it's lots of different things like that, and she's done a whole folder full of things like that. So it's all miscellaneous. If I get math sheets that I can print off, or anything that I see that's good. And I don't worry about the age either. I don't worry whether it's specifically for Key Stage 3 or even if it's like a Key Stage 2. We don't tend to go lower than Key Stage 2, but, you know, I think, well, fun stuff, Christmas, Halloween, Easter, doesn't matter what age it is, you know, you don't have to follow age things. There's no age limit for things like that, I don't think. So, yeah, I don't mind what we print off if I know she'll enjoy doing it, or it's something that will spark a bit of interest with something. We're quite happy to go with it. So that's like the miscellaneous. And note, although there's 2 folders there, one of them was her English comprehension, but there was only one that was specifically for miscellaneous. So we weren't doing so much miscellaneous stuff in Key Stage, in year 8 as we were in year 7. And now I think the difference for that was that we were starting to think, or Sian was starting to go a bit more self-led, and we were sort of loosening up a bit then. You could see the difference from year 7, because Sian had been to school, we were very school-like. Everything was very school-like, and the vast majority of lessons that they were doing in school, we were following. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And the difference as well in year 7, we started off having like a school day, full day. We stopped for lunch and came back. Then in the afternoon, we do a bit of something, and then perhaps do cooking or art. And that's how we were doing it in year 7. So it was like a full day. And Sian would go off and have a lunch and start doing something of her own. Then I'd be shouting, it's time for school again. And she'd have to stop what she was doing. And by year 8, we thought, right, we're going to change all this. We're just going to have morning lessons. And then when she goes off for lunch and she starts doing something, she can carry on doing it for the afternoon, self-led work. And I thought that worked a lot better than how we were doing it before. And she's got a lot more from it. And she seems to have gleaned a lot more knowledge from different things than me trying to push her into all this other stuff. So I think that's the difference why we didn't have so many miscellaneous folders, because we were sticking mainly to the books and things we were doing in the morning, and in the afternoons she was like self-led and going and doing what she wanted to study. So that was the difference between year 7 and year 8. We were starting to feel a bit less like we didn't need to follow school so much. Because I remember when we were in year 6 and for a couple of years, year 4, 5 and 6, I remember I used to think, oh, it'd be nice when she gets secondary age and we start home educating, because I'm going to do whatever she wants to do this, do that, and we can stick to what she wants to do. And it didn't work out like that, because it was so ingrained in us, and we didn't realise how much school was ingrained into us, that we just carried on like school. But we were loosening that. By the time we got to year 8, we'd had the 6 week summer holidays, and going into year 8, we were getting a bit looser with it, you know, and thinking, well, we should be doing a bit more of what she wants to do. And I'd been thinking about pulling her away from what she was doing at lunch times and to do afternoon lessons. I thought, we don't need to do that. So we were relaxing more in year 8. It was becoming a more relaxing time, and time where Sian can do the things she wanted to do, and I could look what she was doing and see where her weaknesses and strengths lay, you know. So it was a lot calmer of a year. It was a lot less stressful, year 8. So if you're embarking on it, about to embark on secondary school, home education, or any really, at first it is nerve-wracking, and like if you have been to school, you do tend to follow it. You might think I won't, but it seems to come out of you whether you mean it to or not. So by the time you do get sort of further into it, it does slowly come away. There are times when it comes back at you, but it does slowly drift away and you find your own pattern. And like I'm always saying, you can change it. That's the beauty of it, you change it. So that's how year 8 went for us. It was getting more relaxed. We were forming more of our own routine rather than feeling like we had to follow schools. And she was continuing with the books and she was enjoying the books. So I wasn't going to take them off. I mean, like I said, science and maths, we did change the maths around. I do feel it's important she does some maths. You can't just ignore it altogether because it's something you're going to need when you're older. And basic maths is something we all use every day, whether we think about it or not. And I felt she did need to know that, and a time needed to be taught her as well for an analogue clock. So that was brought in with maths and money and things like that. So that was important. But I wanted to do it on a level that she didn't feel flustered and what she could do, rather than trying to give her things that she couldn't do and probably would be no use to her. So that's how we'd gone on in year 8, and it was getting a lot more relaxed. And then by the time we got to the end of year 8, I was having more ideas for year 9 because we could see the Key Stage 3 books were coming to an end. We knew they weren't going to last us all the way through Key Stage 3. So I had more ideas again. So I'll tell you about those ideas next week. Well, those ideas, obviously, we're living through them now because she is in year 9 at the moment. So I'll tell you all about how she's been getting on in year 9 and what we've been doing and how we've felt about it next week. So I hope that's been of some use. If anybody's got any questions or anything, just drop them down in the comment box below. Also, let me know what you do with homeschooling and how you go about things. I always find it interesting, as does everybody who reads the comments. So that's quite nice. So thank you for watching. Now, tomorrow, Wednesday, I'm going to do the gardening collab. So you'll see a bit of urban homesteading on the go there. But yeah, it's hosted by Victoria from Home Educating the Mad Lads, and it happens once every month at the end of every month. Tomorrow's the very last day because I'd forgotten it was the end of the month. I thought we had another week. I thought it was the following week was the end of the month. So I'm probably going to be the last one. But I'm going to do it tomorrow and bring it to you tomorrow. So you'll see that tomorrow. Then Friday will be, hopefully we'll do some air frying cooking on Friday. So if you've happened to just have a watch today and you really only follow for the air frying normally, but you hang around sometimes, then Friday we'll be doing that. So all being well. So like I say, thank you for watching, and until I see you next, take care of yourselves. Bye.